Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I haven't really made any kind of videos like this before, but by request of my lovely chat, I've decided to do a achievement boss tier list. So let's get into it and I hope you like it. So the way I'm gonna be ranking these bosses is kind of like a little bit of everything. I don't want to look at the difficulty too much because I feel like that can really differ depending on where in the game you actually are or what level you are, stuff like that. So I'm going to be focusing mostly on like the moves, aesthetics, and just the overall vibes of the entire fight. So here we start with Ancestor Spirit. I absolutely love this fight. Entirely based off the aesthetics because they looked absolutely amazing. That's why I'm ranking Ancestor Spirit A. It wasn't a hard fight, but like I said, difficulty really depends on where in the game you are. Estelle. The thing I don't like about Estelle, even though the fight looks really cool, I really love the colors. I really love, like, I don't know, the elements they added to it. The thing is, I don't like the hitbox of Estelle, if that makes sense. It's like really hard to hit because it's so like, it's not small, but it's really slim, which makes it kind of difficult to like hit and stuff like that. So I don't really like that about this boss and stuff like that. So I'm giving Estelle a C. Commander Nile, next one. Honestly, I don't remember much about this fight. It was pretty okay, I guess. But the fact that it's not very rememberable says something. So I actually gonna give it a B, just because B is like mid. It's alright. It's like nothing wrong with it, nothing too good about it. I feel like it's just mid. Same goes for Dragonkin Soldier. The reason I'm giving Dragonkin Soldier a B is because there's multiple of these in the game. So it's not limited to only an achievement boss. There's like multiple of them around the map that you can fight that aren't like actual bosses, and I really feel like that takes away kind of, I don't know, the meaning of fighting an achievement boss or a boss in general if there's like a lot of them around. Same with Estelle, there's another one, but that's only like one, or maybe there's another one that's not a boss at all. But yeah, I feel like that really takes away how special it can feel fighting it. It makes it just a bit basic, so I'm giving it mid. I have a bit of a bone to pick with Placidu 6 because, like I said, I don't want to take difficulty into account, but I struggle a lot. I struggled immensely with Placidu 6. That's because I don't like fighting dragons, and I've said that multiple times. I don't like fighting dragons. But I do have to take into account the vibes, the aesthetics, everything else about it. And I do think the arena and everything that you fight him in was really cool to look at. His moves were pretty cool. The colors are pretty cool. Everything about him. So I'm kind of like, you know, weighing it out with how much I disliked fighting him. So before I would have given him a D, but I'm putting it on C. Maybe even B. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with B because everything else looked really cool. I just really dislike fighting him, and that makes it really hard to like properly make a judgment, I think. Elmer, I feel like he was pretty boring to fight. There wasn't much to it. I don't really have anything to add. C. I feel like C should do it. Fire Giant. I also have a bone to pick with Fire Giant. He was probably even worse to fight. Like, worse than Placido 6. Like, I don't like him. I did not like it at all. His weak spots were very annoying. I know he isn't a gimmick, but it felt like a gimmick even though it wasn't. The damage you do to him is so incredibly low, no matter what level you are. And the area is too big. There wasn't anything cool about it, to be honest. So the first D is gonna go to Fire Giant. And I'm not sorry about it. That's just what I think. Got 3 Golden Shade. I feel like the gold really added something to the fight. His fight in general wasn't that special, but having finding the way to get there was a bit of a thing to do. And then his fight was kind of like alright, I guess. So I'm giving him a B as well. Just mid. Wasn't very good. Wasn't bad either. Just mid. Moving on to Godskin Duo. Same with Godskin Noble. Straight up giving them both C. I did not really like fighting these guys. Not because they were really hard or something. I just didn't like the moves. I don't like duos in general, but Noble was a singular boss and he gets the same ranking, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't know, just I didn't like fighting him. There wasn't really anything about the fight that I thought, damn, I really like doing this. So, C it is. I'm sorry. Next up, Horaloo. I feel like I've seen a lot of these, and I think I have to agree with like most of what I've seen, and I'm giving him an S. Horaloo was like one of the fights that I think enjoyed the most. I really like the switch from like phase 1 to phase 2. Like the difference between them was like, there was a huge difference. The cutscenes were really cool. The entire place where he was, everything about it was really cool. He deserves an S. That's nothing more to comment on, just S, okay? Do with it what you will. Leonine. I didn't really like this fight particularly. I don't hate it either. I have used his sword for like a long time. Like even up until DLC, I used that sword. So that gives it like a few bonus points, but also that was the first boss I fought in my run. And even then it wasn't very special. There wasn't anything about it except for the sword that I liked and used a lot. So I'm gonna give it a C. I don't know. There wasn't a lot about it that really mattered, in my opinion. Fortisax, I'm giving him a C as well. Because, like I said, I don't like fighting dragons. And Fortisax was just really quick fight. That was, I don't know if that had to do with the difficulty or like the level that I was. That made it really quick. I just haven't seen like a lot of the fight because it was so quick. So I feel like that makes it a bit harder to judge. But it also wasn't just very rememberable. I don't think there was a lot about it that I think gives him more deserving of like a higher rank or anything. So I feel like C should be good for it. Loretta. I really liked Loretta. I like the area that she was in. I like her movesets, with the bow, the colors, really anything about it. So I'm giving Loretta an A, because I just really liked the fight. And yeah, that's about it. Magma Worm. That's the second D. I really didn't like it. It's quite boring. I feel like they are pretty big, which makes it like where the camera and stuff is like really not in your advantage. It's really hard to see where you are. The fire is not great, same with Fire Giant, whatever. But yeah, D. I don't want to go into it too much. I just really don't like the worms, or whatever you call it. Malekith. That fight was also, I think, one of my favorites. Phase 1 was a bit meh, but phase 2 was really good. And it's gonna be second S tier, because yeah, I really liked fighting him, and yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. It was just really cool. The area was cool, the moves were cool, colors, everything, vibes. Yeah. Margit. I have a bit of a backstory with Margit, so that may affect my judgment a little bit. Not in a bad way, but this was my like first playthrough of Elden Ring that I did, but I have tried it before, like a little while. I don't think I gave it more than 2 hours, but during that first time that I tried it, Margit was the first boss that I found, which I think many people do. And it was really hard. I'd never played a Souls game in my life. I had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted to see what the hype was about. And he made me quit the game and not come back until this year. So, fighting him in my first playthrough and beating him, just gave a weird sort of satisfaction, because it was the one that made me quit and never look back until like a really long time later. So I'm giving Margit an A. Also, I feel like the vibes around it, the aesthetics, the castle thing were pretty dope. His cutscenes are pretty cool. So I think he's deserving of an A. Mimic tier, I feel like Mimic tier is a very personal one, because basing like wherever you rank it is kind of like hand in hand with your build at the time, because that's what a Mimic tier is. But at the time I thought the Mimic tier, my build wasn't great, wasn't spectacular. It was just boring. So I'm giving it a D, because I don't know, just it's not that my build is bad or anything, or that it was hard because whatever, or easy because of whatever. It's just, it was really boring fighting yourself, especially if your build isn't like very advanced or whatever. Yeah, by the time I got to Mimic tier, it wasn't great. So the fight with myself wasn't very spectacular or worthy, to be honest. So that's a D. Moog the Omen. I feel like I don't remember much about Moog's fight. I know it was pretty quick. The way there was really fucking shit. I'm not gonna lie about that. That I did not like. That took me a couple times. More times than the fight itself, actually. That's why I'm giving it mid. It wasn't very special. The way there was kind of special in a way, but it was also very, very irritating, annoying, everything about it, because you know. Yeah, mid. All I can say about it. The Red Wolf. I do like how this one looks. The colors and everything. I just think the rest about it, the area that it was in, the room that it was in, the magic that it did, it wasn't very special. So I'm giving the Red Wolf a C, because I don't know, just wasn't great. Regal Ancestor Spirit, however, A, as well as regular Ancestor Spirit, because the aesthetics, have you seen them? Have you fought them? Do I need to say anything? Like, right? that's it. They're just great. The fight isn't that spectacular in and of itself, but the way it looks is amazing. That's all I can say about it, really. Renala was a bit hard for me to like properly judge. I feel like, no, not properly judge. I feel like I can judge it. It's just phase 1 was a bit boring in my opinion, but it took a while to figure it out for me. And I like puzzles, so it's kind of like a win, I think, because I like puzzles. But once I figured it out, it was like doing it that was a bit But second phase looked really freaking dope. Yeah, that was actually the first boss that I encountered that I was really excited about. So she gets an A because but especially second phase looked just really freaking dope. That's it. Royal Knight Loretta, I'm giving her a B. I feel like the area was like pretty cool, the whole castle, except for the hands that you have to go through before you get there. I think you have to go through them before. Anyway, just it wasn't special, but it was kind of cool, but also not super, so mid, I think, is the right place. Godric, I feel like is also gonna be mid. I did like the dragon thing that he does, but it wasn't special overall. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about him. It's just a bit mid. It was kind of cool, but also kind of That's about it. Melania. I also have a bone to pick with Melania. I feel like opinions on her are very black and white. Some people love it, some people hate it. Based on difficulty, I'd say I hate it, but I said I'm not judging by difficulty. Everything else about this fight was pretty cool, except for that she is kind of different than the rest of the bosses, and I really didn't like that she was able to heal and all that kind of stuff and like whatever, and it took a really long time for me to figure out how to actually beat her, but I did it, and the feeling when I did was just amazing. And apart from that, the aesthetics and the vibes of the overall fight, as well, like phase 1 as well as phase 2, were just top tier. So I'm ranking her S. I'm ranking her S. Yeah. I'm sorry. You hate it or you don't. Like, I feel like it can be very black and white because it's a pretty hard fight, but I don't want to take difficulty into account. So without the difficulty, I'm definitely ranking it an S. Moog, Lord of Blood. His fight was annoying. And yeah. But it did look really cool. I'm not gonna lie about that. So I feel like he deserves an A because everything about it looked just really dope. Except for like the whole blood thing and being very hard to dodge was really annoying. But apart from that, everything else was really cool, and I feel like that deserves an A. Same with Morgott. I really liked fighting him, and I liked his sword and his colors, and it took a while for me to figure out what was going on, which made it even more interesting, I feel like. So I'm giving him an A as well. Radahn. Radahn. B. I'm sorry. I feel like the opinions on Radahn are also kind of black and white, or maybe not. A lot of people really like fighting him. I personally didn't really. The way his moves work and everything was really fucking shit. I'm not gonna lie about it. But the arena and the vibes of it and how everything looked was really cool. I just really did not like his mechanics. It was hard to see, camera was kind of shit. It just, no. It wasn't one of my favorite fights. I think it could have been a lot better. Because it looked really cool. Just mechanics weren't it for me. Rykard, kind of same thing. I was very stubborn going into the fight with Rykard. Because I did not want to use the gimmick weapon, but what I was trying wasn't really working. So I ended up giving in using the gimmick weapon, and that made it easier, but not too easy. So it was still a bit like, but it looked alright. It wasn't super cool. It's mid, I think. I think it's mid. Last but not least, the Gargoyle duo. C. I feel like that balances it out quite properly. We have like 3 S's and 3 D's, and the rest is a bit in the middle. But the Gargoyles, I don't know. Like I said before, duos are not really my thing. Probably because it makes it difficult, because you can't really focus on like both of them at the same time, even though one only comes in later than the other one does, but still at the same time. And I was like, oh, you know, if I'm fast enough and I kill the first one, then I'm in time for the second one. But that doesn't work like that, because it just comes in at a certain amount cut from the health bar. So that was unavoidable. The poison was shit, but the area was kind of cool. But like by that I mean the area going there, because the area they were in themselves, like that arena area thing, I don't know how to call it, was kind of boring. So I feel like that gets them down to a C. That looks pretty alright. It's kind of balanced. It's kind of first I had a couple more S's in mind, but when I was talking with people, it was like maybe I could limit it to like only 3 or like a couple, because S tier is like really high, and I don't want to give too much like to the S. It's just, that feels wrong to do, you know? So I balanced it out a bit more, and I feel like it looks pretty good. So that was my tier list ranking of the achievement bosses in Elden Ring base game. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments what your ranking would be, or what you think about this ranking. And don't forget to press that subscribe button, and I will see you next time.